Revenant, re-evolution, evolution line settings, revelation, trace down your calculations to its evolution system. Comes into all lines. I think we have to really understand how to surrender. What is surrender? What does that mean to you? You break it down through the alphabetical streamline setting and high interline rotation, interference location, and calculations, and then you understand what it is to you, to all levels of abundance. Everything that you break down is all calculations to its abundance. It's very powerful when you come in that position location in a direct line setting. We did all calculations or reminders when Zero was doing calculations on live, and that positions to its cards. Cards are never wrong. Cards are already in operation. Cards are already in travel. Cards do not create alter egos. Okay? It knows exactly what it's doing. You know why? Because it knows what it is. It's its system that knows exactly what you need. It's all levels of reminder. Reminding of you of where you stand in position locations of your space and your time gives you everything through your abundance. Okay? So I just wanted you guys to understand that you have a recognition line positions, all levels of power that needs to be released. When you release that power, it's amazing because it goes in so many ways where you see yourself. Where you want to be is where you are. Not what you think you are. It's knowing who you are. And where are you? Where are you in travel? Where are you in dimension? Where are you in space? Where are you in time? Okay, the center operation of you stands in view of you. Okay, so if you understand that, then you understand the connections to all levels of the expansion that you're coming into. The bandwidth. It's amazing when you come into these. It's important you get into all levels of what it is. Track interference, timeline setting, time position locations, timeline rotation setting. It's all line center of calculation, right? It's how you project your system every single time you get up in the morning. Okay? You're a body of information that's here. Your eye central systems is here. The sonar is here of listening. And you have your throat pattern, which is its commanding. Okay? Using your voice extremely and so many communication settings opens all levels of you. Now, the first thing you got to look at, we went over this location with Zero. Yes, data line connection is the connections to nurturing. What is Mother Earth to you? Okay, coddling like a baby, right? So in that position directions, it's all levels of your spiritual root. It's the tree of foundation. It's the tree root that's coming into your spiritual growth. Flower recognition of time sets position to your directions. Protection. You have the protection, okay, which is all levels of its position. And then you have the security. Security and protection are not the same, okay? So you got to understand the earth of you, which is the nurturing, which is the spiritual root of you, okay? It's connected to your chakra setting, okay? So you have to understand the calculations to your pyramid and work your way up. There's 3 tablets of information setting, okay? You have zero gravity setting, you have ground position locations, and then you have your position of your roots. So if you look at the grounds, you see the roots below. Okay, it's all electrical wire. But every circuit is connected to each other. It's like every tree. This is a tree, this is a tree. This tree is communicating with this tree underneath. So everything finds a way to communicate with its own system through operation. It understands its protection. It understands its purpose. It understands why it's here. It understands who it is. Do you understand? That's what this is. You are a process of information trying to understand why you are here. And once you understand the why, we all come into the how. How everything works inside and around your system. It's the spectrum of you. It's the resource of you. It's the informations of you. It's the communications of you. It's the calculations of you. It's the formations of you. Okay? So these are the things that you need. It's all levels in how you see yourself through consciousness, because there's so many layers that you go through. Okay? It's a center dot position that sets locations of your birth line setting, that opens up your avatar stream, that sets its position location to its atom. It's a rotation surface, but you have two atoms and synchronous location to one. It's a circuit pocket. It's a generation light stream. It's a solar generator. Okay? So it's like a washing machine and a dryer put together through circulation and rotation. The position of direction is truly extend the foundation coming into its energy. Now that's form of collaboration settings to all levels in how you use your ecosystem. The energy, the collaborations, the communications, the openings are all levels of your perception. Sets you free. I'm free to do what I want because I understand the conscious level I'm doing through my protection and my security. The higher you go, they understand the lines when it comes into multiverse, metaverse, megaverse, ultimate verses, spectrum universes. Okay? Multi dimensions of different dimensional realms. Okay? So it's all about you understanding the avatar, okay, through your consciousness. But there's two things you can't live without. Is the protection of your earth, which is mother communication, and the security of your position of space. That's connected to grandfather and grandmother line setting. Father in communication to all levels of the prodigal son setting, and position locations of Mother Earth. Okay? It's trying to understand the earth of you. Okay? When you pick up sand or when you pick up dirt, it's all in position of foundation. Okay? It's the earth line of you, which connects to your roots, the spiritual growth of you, which is the tree of the foundation of you. Okay? So your job is to recognize you through your space of time. It's all levels of progression. The synchronicity patterns, the communication cycles, the high center generation light settings. It's all levels of you to understand you. Knowing who you are is the controlling setting. Knowing who you don't know is not in position. So this is a process that you all have to understand because you're in so many levels of consciousness. Consciousness of this, consciousness of that, consciousness here, consciousness there. I'm not sure of this consciousness, but I understand this consciousness. I have to work on this consciousness. Consciousness is something that you are. Okay? And it's connected to everything around you of communication, of information. That's all it is. You just have to recognize the spiritual growth, your spiritual development is all levels of self-reliance, self-communication, self-devotion, self-gratitude. Smile goes a long way. Standing tall goes a long way. Knowing your prosperity of your calculation goes a long way. Knowing who you are goes a long way. Knowing what you're doing goes a long way. Okay? Understanding this, understanding that, knowing this, knowing that, going here, going there. It's all levels of you in adaptation. You want to grab it. Okay? And put it inside. So when you're collecting, that's the collective. You call it the collective, right? So you're gathering things from a shelf, like I say again. So you're picking these things up, right? And you're trying to understand the energies, the signature patterns, the communication setting line, interference, data positional streams, the processors, uploads, downloads, upgrading, and uplinking line settings. It's all levels of you coming into your memory. Okay? So extremely understand the conscious line on so many levels of dimensional layers. Multiverse, metaverse, so many communications you have to understand. Understanding the protection of Earth, of you inside locations, and understanding the security and all levels of your division of travel is a recognition line connection of you inside position. Okay? Yes, I know a lot of coming into position of memory. Okay, so today in class, we're going to follow up in the center positions where we come into the 30 because you guys have another quiz coming up at the end of the month. You guys are going to come all line setting. We're going to go on Zoom at the end of the month, and we're going to go into position locations where you come into your registration lines, your communication cycles, your line center interference, your chakra settings, how to come into all levels. Your avatar is a geographical system. It's an AI map sequence. It's all levels of GPS. The geographical system is you through perception operation setting. You have to learn how to use it through travel, and you have to recognize all levels from 0 to 40 because you have 114 chakras. And I'm only giving you guys 10 signals at a time position because the chakra system changes everything in your lines of your thought locations. See, this is what you have to recognize. Every time you create a thought, you're changing the conscious line of its vibrational graph. It's connected to your emotional system that's connected to all levels. That changes all calculations to your spiritual growth. That changes all your line setting to all position locations. That changes all levels of your DNA. That changes all levels of your numbers, symbols, shapes, and its calculation system. Okay. So shaping you is molding you, putting yourself together, the pieces and puzzles, understanding this and understanding that. Everything's understood. Okay. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to go into the circuitry line setting. It's a board communication setting. Starts position, location, calculation, setting, location. Starts in this line. Okay. Look real close. You can see the intelligence. Right. Go beyond recognition locations. Okay. Don't look at this. Look at me. You have to look at things beyond. You don't look at things in front view. It's not this. You're looking behind. Right? Don't look at this. Look at me. Then you're going to see it move. So when it starts moving, you can see the shades and shadows and communication lights and highline center, highline interference, position, location, all around communication setting. That's all it is. Location, position, highline interference. Okay. So it's a recognition line setting locations of you through shadows, all through colors. So getting in that position locations, I'm just showing you how things are set up in you. All right, try our calculation setting, go into all levels. Okay, so we go on this line center, four center locations of chords. Circuitry settings, high setting line interference. 3-wire communication settings, right? 3-wire line settings. Correlation of the line rotation interference and position location is 1, 2, 3 line settings, 3 line settings, 3 line settings, 3 line settings. Okay, past, present, future. Everything is a recognition line setting. It's all calculated and modify how you see yourself locations. It's very, very high rise position location directions. See, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know where I am in that position location, all levels of space time. I have my protection. I have my security. Every single time I do something, it's always in the future calculations of precognition, knowing things are already done. You're coming into your memories, trying to figure who you are, where are you going, where you are is the biggest thing. If you don't understand your controlling line setting, everything is going to be controlling you in all line center rotation, interference location, your space and time through pi. So it's important you understand all levels of your circuitry calculation settings. So in that position locations, you got 3 line centers, high wires, you got 3 line positions, 3 line positions, and 3 line positions. Okay, so that comes into 3 line center location of 6 position locations, all levels, 3, 6, and 9. Sets position locations into your diamond core. So travel position line setting, circle locations, sets into the round line setting rotation. Calculation surface. Go into the PCU line center, CPU line center rotation, circular line center interference, sets position locations. So instead of the 45-degree angle line rotations, we're going to go a half pipe communication. There we go, half pipe. Set communication. All right, there's the half pipe calculations. It's very complicated, very confusing. Recognition line setting is all level location of a total setting. Okay, so we go into block surface line position at 12 foundation location of tracker settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 rotation settings and round line connections, right? All right, so PCU line of centers, unit position of pocket, circuit side center location, CPU, computer program location, unit line center rotation interference, DC, position of program line setting, high interference locations, 30 minutes on the clock, set positional calculations. Have fun. All right, so set locations, trial line setting, empty and position and directions, trial line. Set locations, 3-line channels, all positions, point dot, point dot, point dot, point dot, point dot. Inline setting, inline center rotations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Set position location calculations, set position location calculations, high setting. All right, so in that position locations, shadows over the light, line center rotation interference disappears in calculations, all right? Setting position, location of direction. Now we're going to the foundation location of 0 gravity locations into 40. So to truly understand the foundation of 12, it's basic understanding. 12 equals line center location of 12, right? All you got to know is understand the 24 signals, all right? That sets position location. That opens all communication to your earth line setting. This is your earth calculation setting. That's your earth, 12 and 12. Now, you guys understand that the 12 and 12 has to come in at 24, right? That's a clock in of 24, right? We started that line connections. So once you get into 24, you come into 48. Now, 48 line center location equal line connections to its window. That's what it looks like, a window communication setting. So the window opens up line center locations to your computer, which is a high line center rotation interference into your flux capacitor position location directions. Now, there's 3 channel operator streamlines. Now, these streamlines opens all position location your satellite, sets location to all levels of perimeter, parameter sets on position location protection, protect over security over program locations of Pluto. Pluto sets line conditions of 2, position of 3, set line position of 4. Kaleidoscopes, levels, and communication program location unit line center interference location, position, direction. Set communication settings is to understand how to use all levels of trifactor. Okay. So the reason why I travel so fast is why. Why am I traveling so fast? Because I'm changing energy signature line settings and locations of waves. The central communication system truly understands what you are saying is all levels of what you already said, which is recognition location of precog. Saying these things beforehand. When you guys come to school, you've already traveled through this already. General, I've already seen this. So you're already aware of what you already saw, which is your future. See how that works? You're already seeing something, and you're trying to understand the chronological order to its position of 3-line settings. Position locations of 4-line settings, position location of 5-line settings, and position location of 1 graph streamline setting into position locations, cross signal line center, in rotation position location, the high levels of channels. Operation signals into high position location and calculations. Channels its position lines of 2 track locations. So it's sure you understand how you use your energy line signatures, how to use the circuitry element of you. So the process of communication, that's all it is. Okay. So these are finger point lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I got 5 point settings. All right. Now I'm directing and redirecting, directing, redirecting, directing, redirecting. Directing is going forward. Redirecting is going back. Process of calculating is calculating and recalculating. So you have to understand how wire works through the positive and negative of everything. Turns on the light bulb, right? So if you understand the process of the communication of your finger point line settings, then you understand the communication to your barcodes. Barcode communication line setting to locations to all levels is your sun. Sun position location to the moon. Right? You see a circuitry pattern line position comes out of graph interference. You set the stream setting, box position, right? So it comes into a high center of a sealment. That sealment sets line setting location of metal face sets position locations in the calculation. That opens all channel operation streams. So you start to see these things coming out as a hologram. So it's kind of like signature patterns, like you're drawing your name. Okay. You see the light signature line setting. You see the program locations? So it's all about understanding how to use the modification. Modification line setting is all levels in how you see yourself through division. Division line center locations. You're not in your sectors, you're not in your vectors, you're not in your quadrants. But what you're in is your connection of what you're doing through the process. Okay, so understanding the projection to understand the projecting. So you're projecting through a hologram, and the hologram is trying to understand you through a box line setting. This is a computer, right, that has a 4-wave cycle, right? 4-point settings. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4-dimensional line setting. So understanding that, then you understand the console, the communication system, position location and direction locations of south, inline set location of north, and set location of east. 2-line generation light streams, set line position of all levels, barcode calculation. Recognition of timeline. So really understand how to use the hand formation location of circuit line settings. If I get a panel, there's a panel here, right? 2 metal faces on both side line center, wires in calculation setting. Barcode in the center position location, 5-point direct line settings. Okay, this measures on your communications, right? Thumb in a rotation setting is the moonline setting, right? But the moonline setting can turn into the sun. This is higher level division. So you start off with this is the moon, and this is the sun, and this is the weather. So what you're doing is you're changing pattern calculation to circuit line settings. Knowing exactly what to touch in position location, and how to fix it. So there's circuitry elements, pocket centers, circuit locations, laser direct line setting, high line center track interference location of 5-point center line interference location of clock line setting, set position locations back to trend, center location position of direction. It's all set location of signal. Travel time, travel line setting, travel interference is all position location how you see it, you see yourself. So it's positional clock locations. Now the moon can be on so many plateaus, so many platforms in the line setting. Okay, it's a metal face line position location. It's a hologram structure. It's a space command. It's communication setting. It's a rotation cycle. It's communication program location. The moon processes all levels of you in calculation of its program. Sets communication emotional line setting that sets up position locations in your digital core. Sets communication line interference position location how you see your moon in position location all levels of its electrical light connection. Right? All this from a hand formation of 5-generation light settings. So it's important you understand the circuitry system of you. Okay, it's kind of like what buttons to press and which buttons not to press. Okay, because they have all position location of nerve. This is a nerve. This is a nerve. Now you got 4 templates, 4 position locations of lobes. You got the frontal lobe and you got the back lobe setting. So it recognizes line center rotations in position. So it's like this. There's a inhibitor position of the back line setting. Now that's a course line setting that sets location of 6, 7, and 8. All right, 6, 7, 8 changes location. 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 7, 6, 8. So you have to truly understand how to use the inhibitor location because it connects to the sundial of the sun position and the shadow wave locations of your moon. So you use your space communication, your mind lines, but I'm doing it through my finger point locations because this is all levels of intelligence of communication. Over time, you understand how to balance these things out. Light and dark is the process of 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. 1. 1 division, 1 location, 1 timeline all at once, simultaneously. And that's what you guys are in process of living. The process of communication is not the 7-dimensional graph streams. It's 1. You're not living 7-dimensional line center, stream interference location of travel. You're only in position location of travels of 1. 1 direction, 1 location. All the time. Okay? All at once. 1 synchronicity line setting and 1 position location, all levels of calculation. So it's important you understand the calculation setting when it comes into all levels of grids. The electrical light setting locations is your tracker setting. It's calculated and modify how you set all positions of hologram structures. You got digital layers that's understanding your avatar line setting. So it's pieces of paper that has digital frame locations. It's just layers of information. Okay? So it's like complete cycle, set line setting, 250 million dimensional graph streams, all through calculation. Connected to your tracker setting opens all calculation streams. Now, there's so many electrical wires in your tracker setting, which is connected to each conscious line. Each conscious line has a recognition line setting that sets position location to its atom. The atom is a circuitry line position location that centers its communication to its core recognition location of your universal line setting. Extremely, extremely powerful when you recognize the communication to your core setting. So it's all levels of calculations, all right? It's beautiful, beautiful day. Weather's getting warmer in Mexico. It's fantastic. Loving the energy, smiles, gratitude, residents. So it's all levels of you inside locations, how you feel, how you want to feel. That is your determination how your day is going to go because you got 24-hour line settings, right? Okay, Lindsay calculations, high center interference, line conditions of Adam, line position locations, all levels AJ, A position of Tina, Tina line positions of Kayla, Kayla position of Andy, Jim, high locations, high setting, all position locations of Laura, Andre, calculations of Cami, Jill, calculations, Sammy's of Pam, Pam positions, track line interference, Yolanda. Let's see here. Going through the process here, guys. Airbender, Guardian, Johnny. It's great to see everybody. Val, Chris, Commander, Trinity, Gingy. So you guys go to school every day to what? To remember. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more. It's very simple to understand these things, but it's very complicated because you try to find the controlling of you in space. If you can't find a way to control your space, how are you going to understand anything through your circulation of time? Recognition line settings sets all position locations to freedom, sovereignty, set locations, all levels of you in division. In that position, hold on. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's about its content.
Hi guys, how you doing? Remember, we are in super consciousness now, so stay here for a while. Janelle is come back in seconds.
It's an interesting concept when you come to all levels of volume to know exactly what's going on with the day setting locations. For example, we have water that comes in Mexico locations 2 days a week. First it was Tuesday and Friday, but then I realized it changed because yesterday line setting, there wasn't any water. I said, you know what? The water is going to come today, which is Saturday. It's amazing how it comes into calculation setting, but it's very interesting when you more understand yourself through controlling. Understanding the controlling system, you come into all volume of you. And then you understand, wow, I know something that's going to happen before it happens. So that's a recognition of time on its own. That's a formation through its all communication of its containment system. Positive is all levels of you. All levels of you. Light of the existence is the now line setting that says all levels of you. There is no negative cycle. It doesn't exist. Okay? The only thing that exists is your determination of what happens next. And that's all connected to your thoughts, guys. It's the super consciousness, what you do through receiving. Okay? Understanding the circuitry, understanding the elements, understanding the process, understanding the communication is all levels of calculation. Calculation is a very, very, very high rise in all levels of its awareness of you. Okay? It's a program setting to understand the freedom that you can have just through your thoughts, to know exactly what you're seeing before you see these things. That's precognition. You come into levels of ESP, the external sensory perception, the psyche, the calculation setting, reading in position locations, past, present, and future of yourself and each other. But this is a true understanding. You know yourself completely of who you are and where you're going. Okay? That is so crucial, especially when you're in space. You're in space of communication and you set signals, and the signals don't understand the avatar line stream that sets location of beacon light. Beacon light's coming in and says, I don't know what that means, because you don't have the memory set. So to get in your memory set is not a hesitation line. It's a knowing. It's a factor of calculations to its manufacturing setting that opens all communications and how you see yourself through your AI vessel. Okay? This coordinates all levels of you through your GOD. It connects and always informs the geometric operation of directions of all levels of space and time through pi. All right. Imagination is everything, because the thing is, you can do anything when you understand the full control of your avatar. Okay? The physical line setting has limit position line settings, right? It knows where it is, right? In the physical line element. But see, you're not in the physical element. You're in the consciousness of the physical element. Consciousness of the physical element. Spiritual of the physical element. Not the calculations of the physical to the spiritual. So what you're coming into is the birth calculations of consciousness. Okay? All right. Using your adaptation cycles, high synergized light streams, all position location and calculations, knowing exactly what you're getting into when you come into that position. All right. Okay. Inhibitor. Yep. Set to the sundial, moon through 768. Smooth travels. So Airbender has to understand the 7 between 6 locations of 8. So that's 7 line setting of the cosmos, 6 position location programs on the moon, and 8 position to infinity cycle that sets position to what? Telepathy of telekinesis of communications of calling line setting. That position locations to his teammate. All you have to understand is the number sequence pattern and how it works for you inside location of your chakras, guys. Okay? It's very powerful when you come into that. Yeah, awareness is everything to position. Okay? When you understand the more lines of control, then you understand how you come into protection and security. It's not the same thing. Remember that. You have to truly understand the earth line setting. You have to learn how to use the earth, the fire, the water, and the air of you inside. That's inside of you. Why do you think you have a containment of water that surfaces you? It's a rotation cycle that sets all communications to the hydrolysis line setting. Okay? It's electrolytes, guys. Okay? In communication electricity line setting. You just have to learn how to use it. Because the faster you go, you're creating a portal. Plasma comes into plasma. And when it comes into plasma, you have to learn how to use it through its galaxy, because you're traveling extremely fast. So if you know how to create these things, you're already in your imagination of precognition. It's already done. See, nothing on the page, but it's already done. You can't see it, but I can. All you see is white. Okay? To understand what you see is to go beyond. So, and it's here, it's not here, it's here. It's not here, it's here. Okay? Your imagination is not this, it's here. So you have to get out of this. You have to get out of this. You have to get here. See, this comes into this, and when this becomes this. So everything that you see is positioned inside line. So you start with the zero gravity line, get rotation interference, and that direct locations. At all levels of the channel operation stream. Okay, so it's very important in locations. So you guys got into zero gravity, zero location of 25 line setting. So you start with locations. We start with line setting location of 1, right? And that is, I really want you guys getting the foundations of your 12. It's the principle that you truly have to understand every single day. So zero gravity line setting location is position locations. You can back triangle set location your pyramids, because that's what you're coming into, your pyramids, right? The cycle of communication in a crop circle. 1 is what? 1 is always the ground setting, ground level, always getting ground level, okay? 2 is line position locations into what? Security, right? Security, security. Set communications, 3 is what line setting? Your sacral. Okay. 4 line setting. I just really want you to understand the basic foundations of 12. That will never, ever, ever change because it's your DNA. All you're doing is you're processing your DNA to higher levels of space through your avatar, through consciousness, through imagination. That's all you're doing. But everybody finds it complicated because they don't know where they are in space. That's it. All right. And because you understand the protection location and security line, you're fine. But if you don't understand position location and calculations, you're not going to understand your chakra system. So, and then 4 line center location is your solar plex. Okay. 5 is position locations to your all levels of your heart. Okay. Your heart. That's 5 line right there. Now that's a balanced communication, all signals. Anything above line setting, you're setting to what? Higher levels of your body. The basic understanding is line communicating to all bracket interference position of panels. So what you do is you want to split this in synchronicity locations of different program locations. Okay? So when you do that, it sets the tone. Because each chakra system is an emotional track setting to a vibrational graph. Each one has a different locations, different locations, different locations, different locations, different locations, different locations, all different vibrations. Getting the vibration in position is to understand how to use it through all levels when you're going through travel, jump scars, all positional portals, vortex. You have to truly understand how to use it in your physical element. But the physical element is not the position, it's the avatar. So all you have to understand is the avatar is the consciousness, and your physical line center is just a levels of body of reaction. That's all you have to do. So the avatar is its consciousness of everything through its circuitry of its element. It's trying to understand why you're in this purpose in the first place, to understand all communication to your earth that's connected to all line center location of your security, that's connected to all levels of your chakra system of travel. Okay? So you get a position location above line setting, 6 line center location equal to the location of 7. 7 line center line your rotation interference in position locations. Okay? Once you get into 7, you're coming out. You're coming out the grounds, right? This is 7, right? Anything above is atmosphere. So I really want you to understand the process of what this is of its unified ascension to its awakening. The avatar is coming into its consciousness. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more. Okay? This is a very, very powerful video to understand what is going on with you and how you see yourself in this central communication of your line settings, and understand all levels of you of your future setting. is your determination of what happens next with your thoughts. That's it. So when you get into 7 line, you get into 8 position, right? Now, 8 positions, you try to understand each chakra system is a representation to you. Obviously, we already know that through emotional line setting, because your thoughts are your determination of where you are in space, because you're traveling so fast per second, per mile, per channel, per operation, per square, per mile, and that calculations to its position. So if you understand that process, you are already on your way to know exactly what it is to be successful. Okay, but humility has its play before it comes into all levels. So what it is in its direct location of you, you have to understand failure. To understand is to be humble. Humble is the process of the mind. And like I said, the mind has to be quiet. Quiet the mind, calms the soul. The soul, heart, mind, and soul of travel every single day through its consciousness puts you in position of its projection. Because it's all connected to your emotional system, guys. As soon as you change your emotional system, it changes the protection and the security of you and your avatar, of its consciousness. You went from here to here, and now you're back here. You just changed the power. You just changed the recognition. You just changed the protection of its security line setting. You don't want to do that. You have to know what you're doing with your consciousness. Okay? To understand that, then you become formless and shapeless. Okay? So it's all about understanding you first and always inside. Master the communications of you through your circuitry settings. Sets you free in all ion connection. All right? So understanding the basic foundations. 8 is what? To give you guys the basic understanding is to understand your chakra system and why you have it inside through fluctuation. Fluctuation is going up and down. That's frequencies. That's what 8 is. Okay? You're going through communication, up and down, up and down, up and down, communicating on different levels in positions to the team, right? So this is how it works. 0 gravity line center locations and 1 ground setting. 2 position locations of security through all line position, protected, all calculations, earth, line center locations of mother setting, and calculation of father space. Protection, security, ready to go. Always find a way to know exactly where you are. What is the process that you want to do is all levels of your intention. But you got to quiet the mind, or it's not going to understand anything through its process of its connection. Okay? Okay, so when you're in the 8, it's the infinity of you, the telepathy of you. That's a telephone call. Hey, what's up? Okay, 8 is the central calculation, right? It's the crown. Okay, so when you get into the crown, you're leaving the body of its consciousness. 7 bodies of water, which is a low division line setting in calculation. The lowest form line setting rotation is the connections to your density. Okay. Density volumes all levels of you through track setting. Okay. It's you releasing higher levels, getting into your projection. How you see yourself is your connection. Okay. So 9 is connected to a solar star. It's a chakra. Okay. It's a flushing system to your chakra setting, out with the old and with the new. I want to do this over again and again and again because you have a quiz coming up to the test review and evaluation at the end of the month, and you have to know what you're doing in its process. So it's better to understand you know what's going on with your chakra systems of your emotion. Okay? So 10 is the position location to your galactic family, galactic signature, the ancestry. Okay? So every time you're coming into 1 number to 2 numbers to 3 numbers, you're going into higher levels of story frame. All you're doing is add, but the 12 foundation stays the same. Okay? Because it's your DNA of your avatar system of consciousness. It's the basic foundation of consciousness. It's the birth calculations of chakra consciousness. So truly understand that process gets you in all levels of your division. Okay. 11 is your universe. First time ever connect to the universe line position. And you're not in calculation yet. You're just trying to stand the 7 waters of communication to the 5 atmospheres. You're not connected to your higher self yet because you're not at 13. 13 is the born communication to all levels of your higher self, of consciousness. You're waking up for the very first time coming out of your body. You understand? It's the 7 bodies of water, and then you got 5 atmospheres. The recognition is all levels of where you are in space for the first time. Breathing space for the first time. Coming out of body experience is your astral projections, astral travels, astral connections, right? But the process first is to understand your chakra system because it's transmitting and receiving information. So your circuitry element and your board communication system is a receiver. It's an adapter. So once you understand that, then you understand the importance of what your avatar is through its consciousness. Okay. So 11, okay, is the 1 line setting, 1 activation line setting to your universe, to your solar system. 12 is your divine, which is connected to your earth, the rotations of your earth. The earth set location, this is your earth. And all you're doing is going around trying to understand what it is. That's all you're doing. And there's countries here, 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 here. Okay, that's all you're doing. So understanding the countries is understanding divine of yourself. Divine of yourself. The development of yourself first. You're not in your higher self yet. Higher self is not even born in its consciousness. Okay? What's being born is the conscious levels of you to your spiritual growth. The avatar is going to higher levels of its energy, to its formation, to its correlation, to its balance of recognition of what it is. All levels, to its provision. All right? So once you get into 12, you automatically come into 13. 13 is your higher self. Okay? First time understanding that, coming out, higher self gets to know its solar system, its universe, its countries, its planets for the first time. Okay? And 14 is just all levels of the higher self trying to understand more of its system, of what it is through operation. I'm glad I'm doing this so you get a better understanding the importance of your foundations of your 12 chakras. Okay? So that gives you all levels of what it is. Now, your ground setting is all levels of 0 to 40. And you have to recognize what that is. And all you're doing is you're adding frames of higher level of element communication of your circuitry line settings to its foundation of a story frame. You can do anything in your dimension of your avatar. It's not a dream, it's a vision, but it's your imagination that you're using. Okay? And it's all connected to how you use it through your thoughts. It's your intention. What do you want? You want to understand what it is. What's the process of the operation setting? Now, this is a very low division location for me to give back to you as general. Okay? I went through the same process, and so are you. Okay? So now you get a little bit of understanding the importance of what it is, of what you're coming into. It's all levels of space and time through pi of consciousness of your avatar. Ooh. All right. So, protective beams on your position lines. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, see, Val, I want to get into a lot of basic foundations of you first before you understand what's going on. To know what you've seen in the past, know exactly what you're seeing in the present, know exactly what you're seeing in the future. You don't focus on the past of your avatar. You focus on the now. Past is okay, just don't bring it forward. Because if you bring it forward, you're confusing your travels of your consciousness. Okay? Creating consciousness is creating self-development. It's like creating a car from scratch. Whoa, look what you created. Something is created from nothing, becomes everything of evolution. Okay? So now you understand the importance of what your avatar is and why it's here in your division. Okay? All right. So line setting, so 50-minute line setting in position locations. I'll wait till the line setting comes into 50, 8, 9. You guys are back. All right. So high setting, high lines, and high interference position of program locations. To understand the avatar is to understand the consciousness of its avatar. Why do you think it's so important to understand what's going on with you? Because you're coming all communications of its reaction to your body. Okay? Your avatar is living all levels of view of a circle of rotation, so circulatory line setting, high rotation interference, line communication setting. It's all levels of track setting. It's all connected to transmitting and receiving. You're transmitting and you're receiving. To receive is to surrender. You know why? Because it's the inner development of you. So what you're doing is you're creating telepathy of communication to an inner line setting, which is your inner voice. Creating the inner voice position is all levels of you. We'll get more into that. Ringing ears, what is the process? Why is my right ear ringing so loud? It's because you're not paying attention. And it's going to keep ringing until you understand the communication through telepathy. It's all conscious levels of you. That's the placebo effect. Now, that position location opens all levels in how you see yourself into the frontal lobe communications and the back lobe settings in your template communication setting. Okay? You have to start recognizing your avatar and all levels of its circuitry board setting because it's an electrical system. That's all it is. Okay? It's lights of travel. You're not traveling positive. You're not traveling through negative. You're traveling through all levels of positive. The negative is positive. You understand? So it's a lot different when you're in the dimensional setting. The physical system sees it as light and dark, but the avatar season is all levels of light and love, unconditionally. Okay? So when you're in that process and all communication comes to you, and somebody comes at you in that position locations, that's not a resilient line setting, in position locations in a formation line setting, or anything, elevations that you don't understand in its position line setting, is truly understand how to give back the love, the unconditional love, the forgiveness, and its compassion. That's all you can do. You can't do anything else, right? As long as you do that, and then you understand the spiritual growth, this is what you follow every day through circulation. The rotation cycles, the spectrum communication setting opens all levels of you. Okay? Knowing exactly where you are every single day when you wake up. Do you understand how powerful that is? That is intention on its own of its consciousness. I'm in the spectrum light division locations in the 2 million line settings. Wow. So I got my protection, I got my security, and I know where I am. And I know who I am. I know who I am. I know where I am. And I know where I'm going. And that's where I am. It's all levels of you to understand you is the future of you. Okay? It's the evolution of completeness, of its expansion. The expansion of you. The space just comes in so many levels, but it break it down in communications of compartment settings. Okay? That's a true understanding when it comes into all volume. Mass is all position of volume. Energy is all formation location of consciousness. Equal line setting is all positions of balance. That's why you have the equal line setting. What you see above, what you see below. Everything is above, everything is below, right? So that's how you see the equal line setting. It's like this, right? It's an equal line. What's above, what's below, right? So it comes together. See what that is? It's the Magna line setting, but it doesn't come together. It stays apart. The balance communication, okay, I give you guys a multipass. You're the center of operations. So the equal line center line interference location, you're in the center of its equal location. Try to understand what's above and try to understand what's below. Gives you all position locations into your diamond core, northwest, south, and east. Okay. So we're going to get more formation line settings. You guys have a quiz coming up, your test review and evaluations of what you already know in your chakra system. Okay. Each chakra system has its own emotional line setting, a videograph line setting location to its consciousness. Okay. We'll get more into that on calculations on Monday. All right. Tomorrow, familia, set communications, no school. Take the time, enjoy your weekend. All right. Adios.